Hey everybody, welcome back to the LuckyDog podcast. This is your host, Elias Roush. This podcast is sponsored by EliasRoushMedia.com. Photo, video, digital media production. Today we're discussing the Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, the 2020 action-adventure game developed by Insomniac Games, published by Sony Interactive Entertainment, for PS5 and PS4. This is based on the Marvel comic superhero Miles Morales. It is the second game in Marvel's Spider-Man series, following Marvel's Spider-Man in 2018. The game was announced at the PlayStation 5's reveal event in June 2020 and was released for the PS4 as a launch title for the PS5 in November 2020. Mostly gotten pretty good reviews. So, I'll say up front, just to keep it all spoiler free, I am not what you call a super hardcore gamer. Because people, for some reason, want to categorize you how you are as a gamer, who you are, before they kind of understand your take and your review. This review is going to be kind of light, not nearly as detailed. This is much more of an experience review based on my experience with a PS4 version of this game. And so, yeah, I just want to say that off the top. Not a super hardcore gamer, but I do play probably probably 5 to 10 hours a week. I wouldn't say I'm into a crazy amount. I don't do it for my job, but I do it recreationally. And for the last 10 hours of last week, essentially I dedicated my time to Spider-Man Miles Morales. Again, if you want to check out the gameplay, check out at LuckyDog Podcast, the twitch.tv/LuckyDog Podcast. You can see how the gameplay is and, us playing it. And so it took about 12 hours, but then again, I did die a few times. So give or take 10 to 12 hours to do beat the campaign mode, which was about 62% or something on the percentage completed, which just meant that the rest of the percentages were side missions and stuff like that. Not that that's a bad thing, but it is a quick game right off the top. It does follow up Marvel's Spider-Man 2018 relatively in the same map, a lot of the same controls. There is a few things different that are in favor of this specific game. However, I did not play the previous game, so I'm not going to really compare the two too much. I will just say how much I enjoyed this experience. And there were a couple of things that I did notice about this game that could be improved right off the top. Now, I won't. I'll do my best not to sound like an ass. Like I don't remember who it was. It was like the IGN or some sort of tech website said something about like how this Spider-Man he jumps off the buildings with the swagger of a black teen or something like that. So if I ever say anything that ridiculous, just be like, oh my gosh, dude, this is ridiculous. I don't know why that guy ever said it, but if I ever said anything that ridiculous, somebody say something to me and get my head out of my ass. I could not believe I heard that on one of the reviews of this. It was like, of course, yes, the swagger of a black teen. I was like, what? I was like, are you serious? And so, I will say, as a character, Miles Morales is pretty fully realized as a character. I love the fact that they show this the cultural aspects of him being biracial, both mixed black and I believe Puerto Rican as well. He speaks fluent Spanish through a big chunk of this movie. Sorry, this game. I'm going to keep referring to this game as a movie a lot of the time because I felt at numerous points that this was just a 10-hour movie that I was playing. This is the closest thing besides maybe Red Dead Redemption or like a Grand Theft Auto kind of thing that felt like as a campaign I was really getting engaged as I was like, wow, this really feels like I'm playing a movie. And I do remember that sensation. What I do is I probably dedicate one or two games a year. I'll just be like, I don't care about the multiplayer. I just want to play the campaign. This was one of those games. Same thing I did for Red Dead Redemption 2. However, Red Dead Redemption 2 was like what was this? 36. How long was Red Dead Redemption 2? Hold on, I'm going to time warp. Holy Santa Claus! 60 hours of gameplay on the Red Dead Redemption 2 gameplay length. Now that was very hefty in a way that I was like, this is almost too much. It was so detailed at the point where it was like you had to go in a gunfight or something like that, and then you turned around, had to pet the horse, clean the gun, fucking shave your beard, and eat a bowl of soup before you could do the next mission. So it took way longer than probably the 60 hours even. For me, I remember it took every bit of 6 months for me to to finish Red Dead Redemption 2. So in comparison, you're getting not nearly as much of a campaign. I will say it's the gameplay experience is fun though while you're playing Spider-Man Miles Morales. It is very much in the same kind of like leaving off from what happened in the last little bit of Spider-Man 2018's game. They do give you a nice little recap for the people that are like, what happened again? And of course I didn't play it, so I was basically like, wait, what happened? And so it gives you kind of a regurgitation of what happened. And so the game shares this environment with its predecessor, same map. Miles Morales begins with his ability to use webs to swing and attack enemies, crawl, run on walls. At key points in the storyline, he gains Venom Blast. Kind of not really a spoiler alert, but I mean it's in the trailers. The ability to incapacitate his enemies with electricity, camouflage, temporary invisibility, and Mega Venom Blast, the ability to attack multiple nearby enemies with this Venom Blast. It's like, you hold the buttons and it charges up. So I will say the controls, I was taking a little bit to get, it was taking me a little bit to get used to at first. And when I would come back to the game after about 3 hours of playing it, come back, play a little more, come back, play a little more. I will say I would kind of forget in between the different buttons, but then it would quickly come back to me. It'd flood back. Let me see what else we have. Anything else not too detailed that I wanted to talk about? Yeah, it's single player, not multi. Yeah, let's go with the setting of what's going on in here. So this is sort of spoilers for people that want to be that do want to know about the setting, but not 100%. The narrative continues from where Marvel Spider-Man and its downloadable content, the city that never sleeps, left off. During which Miles Morales was bitten by a genetically enhanced spider and gained powers to Peter Parker's. Peter Parker's. A year after the first game's conclusion, Morales has trained under Parker and has fully integrated himself into the role of a Spider-Man. Though he is still gaining experience after Parker leaves to join his girlfriend, Daily Bugle reporter Mary Jane Watson, abroad as her photographer to cover the ongoing civil war in Samara. I don't know. Miles is left as New York's sole web-slinger. Now he must balance supporting his mother, Rio Morales' campaign for the city council and defending both his new home in Harlem and the rest of New York City for a gang war between the Roxxon Energy Corporation and a high-tech criminal army called the Underground, led by the Tinkerer, one of Spider-Man's arch enemies, I guess. Before he leaves, Parker tells Morales that he has to be like his late father, Jefferson Davis, a walk on the path to becoming a hero for New York. Now, like I said, this throws you into the action. I feel like maybe I shouldn't have played the amazing level. There's basically 4 levels. I think it was like friendly, neighborhood, amazing, and then Super Spider-Man or something like that. Hold on. 4 modes on Spider-Man. Hold on. My fault. It was friendly neighborhood, friendly, amazing, and spectacular. So, on the scale of 1 to 4, I played the number 3, amazing. So before I go into the plot, I will say for anybody that's thinking about buying this game, it's like investing in a television show that you get to actually play for 10 hours on a really cinematic level. I'm very impressed by the specials, by the cinematic quality of it. It feels flawless when you're just going into like a special mode and it automatically goes to what feels like a cutscene, but you're also playing as well. There's a slow-mo, Spidey Sense mode, the Venom that is whooping people's ass. There's all these different type of techniques of how to take down people. It makes me want to go back and replay again. It is a lot of fun. I don't begrudge people saying that 49 is a little high, and I think it's like 69, I think, on the PS5. I don't remember exactly the price, but overall, I really enjoyed it on the PS4. I did find that it would freeze up on a few side missions, unfortunately, so maybe just wait for the kinks to kind of run their course and have the patches come out, have that all fixed. But other than that, yes, I really enjoyed it. Let me think, anything else. It would be fun to play with other people that, were in the world, multiplayer or something, but I understand that the game's relatively small in comparison to a non-multiplayer game. Like Call of Duty is like 200 megabytes or something ridiculous, and I don't know. But anyways, anyone that's thinking about it, if you really enjoyed the first one, obviously you're going to enjoy this one, and you get another at least 10 hours of amazing Spider-Man. And yeah, it's extremely cinematic, and for the price of understanding the storyline, if you enjoyed like the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, then you were going to really enjoy this game as well. All right, we're going to talk about the plot. So this will contain spoilers. More than a year after the Devil's Breaths crisis and the My Guys gang war, Miles Morales is now being mentored by Peter Parker and plans to help New York safe while honoring the memory of his late father, Jefferson Davis. After they stop Rhino from escaping a prison convoy and leave him in the Roxxon Energies Corporation custody, Peter entrusts Miles with protecting New York City for him, while he helps his girlfriend, Mary Jane Watson, with her news coverage in Sankara. So the entire opening, for anyone that was unfamiliar with Spider-Man, and again, I hadn't played Spider-Man since I think like 04 or something like that. I originally had the Spider-Man back on GameCube or something, way back in the day, I guess, when they were allowed to put it on GameCube. I feel like it was GameCube. All I remember is fighting the Green Goblin at some point. I feel like it was maybe based off the movie or something. I was pretty impressed by that game now that I think about it. Anyways, this game does a pretty good job at bringing you into the fold. I did play the amazing version, so I was getting my ass kicked by all these little goons at the beginning, which I enjoyed. It felt like it added some real challenge to the side missions, and the there weren't really any. The bosses, to be honest, were almost just as hard to beat as the gangs were that were in this. I was really impressed by how difficult the game was, kind of going up to it, up to the bosses and stuff like that. Even in this first little bit of the plot, them fighting and wrestling down Rhino essentially was it was an impressive sequence. It was almost like watching a movie. At multiple points, I felt like I was like, "Holy shit!" I had to like get myself out of my chair for a second. I was like, "Oh shit," because I was getting nestled in, ready to watch the movie that I was actually playing. It was a game, so I was just very impressed. The sequence with Rhino going through the mall and whatnot, I was like, "Whoa, whoa." Better than like some TV I've seen recently. So Miles returns home to celebrate Christmas with his mother, Rio, and his best friends, Genki, Lee, and Finn Mason. The next day, Miles attends his mother's campaign rally, which is interrupted by the Underground, a high-tech terrorist group with a vendetta against Roxxon. During his first conflict with the two groups, Miles learns that Finn is leading the Underground as the Tinkerer to avenge the death of her late father, Rick, her late brother, Rick, who suffered from chemical poisoning while working on Roxxon's new energy source, Nuform, and was killed by Roxxon's R&D director, Simon Krieger, while trying to sabotage the project with Finn. So all of this is kind of a lot to handle, but at this point, Miles has already he's done a lot. He's introduced to his or us as the viewers are introduced to his family. We understand his mother. We understand, his father's relation and his how his father has shaped him, and we do get a lot of inner dialogue of Miles Morales, not Spider-Man, but Miles Morales, the character. And I enjoy this kind of down. It's not really downtime, but you are just playing as the character, going through the rooms and kind of exploring and understanding the characters, and it makes you're endeared to these characters later into the campaign. I felt like, even comparison, I know I keep bringing up like Red Dead Redemption, but it's the game I most recently beat. I'll say, this is how you got to do it. You you sprinkle some seeds of the, it's not a flashback, but you make us care about these characters and then bring it back to us later. Make us care about why we should care about these characters. We see them enjoying dinner. It makes us endeared to them. We see Genki spilling shit on the floor, of course. Always fucking shit up. Damn it, Genki. You know what I'm saying? We enjoyed to see Genki and hear his voice later in the game. Same thing with Finn. We get a lot more attached to Finn later as the game progresses. And by this time, we've had some very impressive scenes with, I think we've had the bridge scene already, and we learned about Finn, and then we see, I think we eventually see the video of Finn and her brother trying to sabotage the project. It's pretty crazy, and you see like the motivation of what has happened with these characters. It's extremely interesting, is what I'm saying. With assistance from his estranged and overprotective uncle, Aaron Davis, who deduces his identity later, reveals himself as the Prowler, which I will say this is kind of, I mean, this is Miles Morales. It's the story. We've learned about this in movies and stuff like that. So it was kind of foretold, I guess. Miles learns that she plans to ruin the company by destroying the newly built Roxxon Plaza with Nuform to highlight the energy source's disastrous side effects, which Krieger had been covering up. Quickly, it becomes one of these things where you're like, all right, so we have a bad guy, but we don't want to kill the bad guy, although there's a lot of bad guys surrounding the bad guy that are trying to kill us. And that bad guy's trying to kill us, which is Finn. Despite Finn inviting him into the underground, Miles is eventually forced to tell her that he is Spider-Man, souring their friendship. Rio also learns Miles' identity but supports her son. Despite the wedge between him and Finn, Miles tries to reconcile with her, but Roxxon abducts them with the aid of an enhanced Rhino. I will say that when Rio finds out about Miles, I will say that was a little bit quick. It's like, it feels like a big dramatic moment that should probably last a lot longer than it does, but it's just like, there's no time for that. We got 10 hours and there's no time for tears. As Miles and Finn escape, Miles comes across Krieger's data and discovers he's modified the Plaza's Nuform reactor to destroy Harlem should Finn succeed. Finn almost kills Rhino after he mocks her family, but Miles intervenes. Incensed and refusing to deactivate from her goal, Finn incapacitates Miles and leaves. On his way out to stop her, Miles is captured by Aaron, who feels guilty about indirectly helping Roxxon abduct Miles and Finn, and wants to protect his nephew by imprisoning him. Which, in a way, his uncle Aaron, he's like, I need to whoop your ass so I can protect your ass. It's like, there's a little bit of mixed message I'm getting here, Uncle Davis. I'm not really liking this, I was just like, what is going on? Why is he doing this? I don't know. In a way, it was just like, it made sense for them to fight with them not knowing who they were, but once he does know, and he starts like basically trying to kill him, especially when we're playing in the amazing mode. I mean, I'm chucking shit at him. I'm throwing C4. I'm throwing my goons at him. I got these like, I don't know if he had the drone guys, the hologram drone guys that could come out, but you could like spurt out almost like 4 different drone hologram guys that could go whoop out some serious ass whoopings. And I was just like, Aaron, buddy, his ass whooped. And then of course when you get him on his back, you're just like, all right. When you get him on his back, he's like, I was just playing though. I was just playing. I wasn't really gonna hold you down. It's like, you are just a bitch. Despite Finn inviting him into the underground, Miles is eventually forced to tell her that I already said that. Sorry. I completely lost my place. Miles fights his way out, telling his uncle he cannot turn his back on people when they need him. As both the Underground and Roxxon fight on the streets, and Finn executes her plan, and inspired Aaron helps Rio evacuate Harlem while Miles confronts and defeats Finn before the Nuform reactor goes critical. I will say, when I played this last bit on the street, when everyone's fighting and the Roxxon and Underground are fighting in the streets, it didn't really feel like they were fighting in the streets. It feels like they're just like sitting in an area, and you can kind of go back and look at the gameplay I had. I was just like, they're not really shooting each other that much. It's not much of a war. It just feels like the characters are just like standing there and shooting at you occasionally. But for it being the last level, I just felt like they kind of were stagnant in a way. I was just like, yeah, they could have worked on this a little bit more. Let's see. I don't know if anyone else felt that when they were playing it. So yeah, I did feel like this last little battle was not the most difficult thing that I had to do in the game. Honestly, some of the side missions of trying to unlock the different types of suits, visors, mods, and other side missions and stuff like that were more difficult than the end of this campaign. Most of the campaign was kind of a little bit of mystery, a little bit of action. Then we go through a couple levels of fighting, minions. Then there's a boss battle. Then repeat. Nothing bad about that, but it was kind of repetitive in that nature. But I guess that helps, progression of story, especially with keeping it under 10 hours. And I think I could have. It took me probably 13 hours total to beat this one. I will say 3 hours of those were me just dicking around and dying a lot. I died a whole lot of times on just side missions, and I was like, oh my goodness. Let me see. So, Underground, Roxxon fight on the streets. Finn executes her plan, and inspired Aaron, out of nowhere, helps Rio evacuate Harlem while Miles confronts and defeats Finn before the new form reactor goes critical. I knew Aaron was going to come back. It was so obvious. Miles attempts to absorb the new form energy to negate the blast, but he is unable to contain it. I love this visual. All the animation of Spider-Man in this game is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, chef's kiss moi. I would say probably that even better with the ray tracing they have on the PS5, and forgot what else, the other cool stuff they have on there. The 60 frames per second. I heard the new SSDs, the way they read the hardware, the way that the information is read. The way that information is read is faster and more crisp and cleaner, especially for the visuals that they're trying to present. And so that's what the comparison is with the PS4 versus PS5. And I assume that's the same for the I was gonna say Xbox, but unfortunately Xbox didn't get this. Sorry, I didn't mean to be a dick. I really wish they had that on Xbox, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of exclusives, to be honest, as a concept, because I think if you look at the majority of games, most games anyway, do better if they have it on all platforms. Play it anywhere, anytime. Get the most. All right, let's continue. So Miles attempts to absorb the new form energy to negate the blast, but is unable to contain it, seeing that the energy is going to kill Miles unless he releases it. A remorseful Finn flies him to a safe distance above the city, sacrificing herself in the process. Miles plummets to the ground, and his identity is revealed to a small number of Harlem citizens as he helped as Spider-Man, though they promised to keep it secret. The imagery of Finn flying in the air and sacrificing herself is absolutely beautiful, but I do feel like I don't feel bad for her at all. She put that all on herself. She started this shit and he was trying to end it. And it's like, I don't feel bad for her. She was like a anti-hero in a way. I think that in another movie she probably would have been, in another world she probably would have been the main character. Do I want to see her again? No. I think it's more powerful to leave her, let her be. I do feel like she was a strong character, though. She did put that shit on herself, though. 4 weeks later, Roxxon has been dealt numerous lawsuits, and Krieger has been arrested following Aaron turning himself in and testifying against them in exchange for a reduced prison sentence. I'm glad that they talk about that, because Aaron's definitely got some blood on him. Peter returns from some Kara and praises Miles for his growth and heroism before they head off to fight crime together. In a mid-credit scene, former Mayor Norman Osborn demands his terminally ill son, Harry, be released from stasis, despite warnings from a reluctant Dr. Kurt Connors. In an after-credits scene, Miles leaves an award he won with Finn atop Trinity Church in her memory. So just like the movies, we gotta have the mid-credit scene. I mean, you just can't finish the shit without a mid-credit scene. And I gotta say, Spider-Man 1 probably had a mid-credit scene, and I just didn't know what it was either. And actually, because I haven't played the first one, I'm not going to go back and look and see if it did. I'll let y'all talk about it in the comments or something like that. Everyone's gonna be like, dude, how'd you just jump into the second one? Well, we'll just take it easy. I was probably still trying to beat Red Dead Redemption 2. The damn thing took 6 months. It's fucking ridiculous. I didn't go as hard into it as either. But yeah, so I guess either we're gonna get a DLC, something with Harry, maybe Osborn, maybe some goblin action. I'll take some goblin action, some green goblin action. I wonder if they're gonna wait for an entire new game for that. I just have to wait and see. So, yeah. Let me see if there's anything else that I need to check out. Like I said a little bit earlier into the review, I did have a few points where the game froze up when I was in a restart, when I was trying to restart, and it was just extremely irritating, especially while I was trying to stream. So I'm not sure if the stream had anything to do with it, but because I think it was still freezing up even though the stream was going. So sorry, I had stopped. I tested it both with the stream on and the stream off. So might have just been that specific place. It was like one of the side missions where I was trying to beat up a bunch of the Roxxon, I think. I don't know. Whichever one, or I guess it was the Underground. The Underground was the one that was electricity based. I don't know. But it was some very interesting fighting, some boss battles, the way the layers of the story were progressed, honestly, were pretty awesome. I felt like I was engaged entirely into the story. Multiple times, I just wanted to put down the controller and pick up some popcorn. I mean, when you got that kind of a story, it's just like, yeah, this is engaging. This is the characters in this game. I mean, at this point, I feel like we're getting cutscenes that look better than most of the animated movies that came out in like 2005. So that's pretty impressive in my opinion. And so it's, as long as they keep this up, that's keep pumping them out, that makes it feel like even though we're not getting Spider-Man movies, especially this year, we're still getting a way to play the story of Spider-Man. And it's not like it's any less than actually watching the movie. As a matter of fact, it might even be more fun. At certain points of Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse, one of my favorite movies of, I think it was 2018, which heavily influenced this movie, or sorry, I keep calling this movie, this game, considering you can play it as the Spider-Verse character. Um, I was just like, hell yeah, a, a this is a thing I want to see as a movie, and this is also a property I want to play as a game. It's very versatile in the way that the story can be told, and I think video game movie. What is this? This was not originally a video game movie, so it was originally a movie first. So I guess, but if you did say it was based off of a movie, I guess it's one of the best ones I've ever played. If that would make sense. I guess that wouldn't, because I'm thinking like Pokemon, because they clearly have some of the most superior games, but they don't have great movies. It's the ones we want to find, the ones that have the games first, then the movies second. So that's definitely not this one, but this is still an amazing property, and hell, I just love the visuals of Spider-Man, even just through the characters of sorry, not the characters. Well, hell, the characters are interesting as hell. You got the Finn, you got the Aaron. You got Harry, you got Mary Jane Watson, you got we got everybody. We got Peter. We got an entire cast of people that are explained and feel fleshed out, and it's just like, all right, this is nice. Let me see if there's anything else we need to cover. Oh, the soundtrack was very what is it? What do the kids say these days? Hip. Uh, uh, they had some bops on there or something like that. It's like, I don't know what the hell they say. But yeah, I enjoyed the music. As a matter of fact, the music is kind of just slapped on there in a way that, not, I don't want to say slapped on there, but they don't mix anything else on top of it. So I got flagged on Twitch for having the actual song just play. They're just like, oh, we're not letting you play this anymore. So it's just like, okay, so kind of wish they would have mixed a little bit of something on top, him walking or someone talking or something. But it does kind of go into a cut scene with just some, nice music, hip hop mainly. So, anything else? I think that's about it. IGN 9 out of 10, GameSpot 7 out of 10. They were kind of rough on it. Oh my goodness. Why did GameStop not like it? I think not GameStop, it's GameSpot. My fault. Let me see. Trying to find it. I don't really see it. GameSpot. Alright. I think this was the guy. I don't think this is the guy that said had the swagger of a black teen, but I do think it came from GameSpot. I don't want to say that 100% without... Hold on. Swagger of black teen. We're going to look this up and find this out. Miles Morales. When I first heard that, I thought it was a joke. Game Trap? Was that? I don't want to just randomly say who it was. I don't know who said it. Oh, GameSpot likes. Okay, so I think it was GameSpot. I don't know if I was right, but anyways, says feels like the second half. GameSpot says feels like the second half to The City That Never Sleeps, a 3-part follow-up expansion to the 2018's Marvel Spider-Man. All right, well, without giving them too much of it, I think that let's just see what else they say about it. Tested the game, found it largely compared to experience with the PS5 version, beneficial visual flourishes. So yeah, I don't think they said anything too negative about it. They just weren't that impressed. Which, okay, well, I don't know what they've been playing that they feel that is on this level. I feel like the level of detail, I mean, even the level in the cityscape is just really impressive and beautiful to look at. And I played it on a 1080p monitor. I didn't even play it on a 4K, and I thought it was like, oh my goodness. So I would honestly, it only gets better with the better equipment you have. So screw GameSpot, screw whatever, or I don't know. I don't know the people at GameSpot. I don't know what they said. I'm just talking out my ass at this point. But yeah, let me know what you thought about Spider-Man's Miles Morales PlayStation game. I don't know if you can play it on anything else at this point. I think it's only PlayStation. And yeah, let me know what you thought about the game. Let me know what you thought about the review. Once again, I didn't want to go into too much detail. I just kind of want to talk about it more as a overarching experience. Was it worth it? I kind of wish it was a little bit cheaper. The more I look back, I was like, that $50 would have been nice. Maybe $39.99. But it looks beautiful. So it's like when it comes down to it, it's like, all right, I put the time into it, and I'll go back and unlock all of the suits and whatnot. The thing is, when it comes down to these games, they do have limited shelf life in a way. So you got to really enjoy playing campaign, because the thing about playing like Call of Duty, or I don't want to say just Fortnite, but Fall Guys, but these multiplayer platform games, hell, some people like League of Legends or something like that. I don't remember what it's called. I like I said, I'm not a gamer. I don't even remember what the names of the games are called. But some people like those type of games, multiplayer RPGs. You can whatever else. What I'm saying is this one has a little bit more of a limited shelf life. So yeah, just kind of keep that in mind. Although hell, I really enjoy swinging around the city and whooping some ass. I don't know if I'm going to be rushing back to play the campaign anytime soon yet, but yeah. So yeah, let me know what you thought about it. Let me know what you thought about the game, and what else I should review. And with saying that, take it easy. Oh yeah, and I can't wait to find Spider Cat. I remember that one mission. Oh my goodness. See, I could be talking about this all day. There's these little side missions and shit like that. It's like, all right, you got my attention when you got a Spider Cat on the back.